How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today, I'm going to go over the single trade that I took on NQ. I had a small loss today, a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. We were able to keep that loss pretty small, so not a big deal. Just ready to get on with it and learn from it and then move on to the next. So, before I get into the trade that I took, let's just take a 4 hour time frame and take a look at some of the things I was watching. So, last Friday, we had a large dump. We moved down in the after hours in the pre-market, kind of made a little bit of a move higher, and we're feeling some resistance around 21,798 or 21,800 or so, in that general range. I plotted some levels above and below. So a few of those I had are 21,682, this 21,800 that I mentioned, 21,550, and then one down here at 21,340 or 374. I got those off of the 8 and the 4 hour time frames, looking at point of control. Um, there's a really obvious trade off the open that I didn't take. I had a level up here that we rejected off the opening 5 minute candle and dumped. That was pretty much the high of day, right around that level that I had, and kind of kicking myself now that I'm looking back, because there's a pretty nice setup off the open that I guess I wasn't paying attention to. So let's take a look what the day brought. So like I said, we opened, we came up and we tested that 21,800. We dropped, we held this 21,685 or so, just for a little bit. You know, we got a small bounce. I guess a small bounce today was, 50 points or so. Then came back down and held it. Once we broke it, we broke all the way, not even stopping temporarily at this 21,550 or setting a low around 21,434. We made a little bit of a bounce, kind of started moving around. I tried to enter a short here and did not get filled, so my entry was 534 or 35 right in here, and that was based on, we're looking at the 15-minute time frame. We're looking at the 15-minute time frame. We had our move down, right? We had a little bit of a bounce, and then we have some continuation on the move down. I need to scale this over. We had this point of control right around like 2153, 52, it looks like, right in here. And basically what I wanted to see was that on the 15-minute, we sold off. Looked like we were going to hold, and then we sold off again. I wanted to see price come up and retest that point of control on the 15-minute, and then continue this move down. We were off by just a little bit, so this was when that 15-minute closed on this candle. Then we didn't quite get there. We got around like 525, 530 in here. So just off by about 10 points. And then the entry was there, risking off this level here and targeting a 30-point move, and then the runner towards low a day. Like I said, I didn't get filled there. But the reason why I'm going over this is because I essentially tried to take that trade again once price started to move back up into that region. And I think that is not, I think that is probably the issue that I had with this trade. So I took that trade here when we came up and we started to look weak. So on the 5-minute, we come back up into this area. And then once again, right on the 15-minute, we have two weak candles. And then the points of control for both of those are kind of right in that same spot, like 532, 523, about a 9-point difference between those points of control. But looking pretty bearish. And then as we came up on the 5-minute, right, we're starting to get these upper wicks. We're starting to see price kind of slow down as we're testing this area. And the 1-minute as well. I'm gonna have to scale this so we can pull that up. So on the 1-minute, you can see as well, we kind of came up and started testing this, and you bit of weak price action. The volume was pretty low. It was kind of right around the end of when I want to trade. I usually trade the first 2 hours of the day, and this was coming up on that time. And the reason why I do it is because generally the volume drops off after the first 2 hours or so. But I took the trade and got stopped out on this move up. I did have tight stop loss, which is good because we did make a move higher from there. So any sort of additional risk that I would have taken on just would have resulted in a bigger loss today. So having a tight stop saved me a little bit in terms of a bigger losing day. But I just wanted to go over two things: why this was not a great trade, and the trade that I missed off the open, and something that I want to kind of drill into my head for future days. So if we're looking at the 5 minute, same thing, right? What we're looking at is that we have some resistance up here. We see some weak price action. We see that point of control kind of being over where price had closed, so it pushed up, couldn't close any higher. We have a point of control a little bit higher. Entered the short. I don't hate this trade. I just think that it was a little ill-advised because of the time of day with the low volume, but also the fact that we'd already kind of tested this area previously here and failed to make a lower low. So that, you know, the fact that we made a higher low and then came up to retest this area, probably not the greatest idea to enter short again after we already kind of hit that liquidity and then failed to sell off further. So expecting price to hit this point and then continue dumping, probably not the greatest idea. So it is what it is. I maybe had some FOMO because we had such a large move down. And then, like I said, I tried to enter short in here and just didn't get filled. Missed it by 3 or 4 points. And then we moved down another, 60 points or so. So missed an opportunity that I wanted. And I think that caused me to kind of take that setup once we got back up into that range, failing to acknowledge that we had a higher low and price was moving up after failing to close lower, which might indicate that we had a little bit of a double bottom, a little bit of a potential reversal there. So that's the losing trade we had. Was able just to step away. I came back later in the day and didn't see anything else. So I did come back to the charts maybe an hour later or so to see if there's just any setups or see what price had done. And nothing that I really liked at that moment. The one thing that I was kind of watching, and I didn't take it because volume was so low in here, but on the 1 hour, it was a pretty good short setup up in here. You can see on the 5 minute, we kind of have some clear resistance around like 650. On the 1 hour, you see price action looking like ever more so weak as time goes on. Right, we have that upper wick here, but a decent green candle. Then we have a pretty weak candle with a long upper wick, and then like a really weak doji with a long upper wick. All of them failing to close higher, kind of getting that rounding off. Also not too far from a level that we'd expect is resistance around like 680. So we're off by like 20 points on that. But getting up to that area and starting to round off. And then also you can see those points of control shifting higher in those candles on the 1 hour as well. This is the 1 hour time frame. So those points of control being high up in the candle, and the fact that those candles are pushing up and getting dropped right back down shows me that there's selling volume up there, right? That's preventing those candles from closing higher. So I was actually looking at a potential short up here, but I just didn't like the volume being so low, and I figured that it led me to maybe a not the greatest trade earlier in the day, trading on low volume. So I was just going to accept a small loss on the day and come back tomorrow, hopefully for some better opportunities. But that's it. The one thing that I was sort of oblivious to, I don't know how. I didn't even consider taking this trade. I think just because it happened so quickly off the open. But we sold off Friday. We came up. We formed a lower high. And what we have is pretty nice on the 4 hour here. If I zoom in and scale this a little bit more. So what we're looking at is like this price action here. What do we have, right? We have obvious resistance because prices hit it once, twice, 3 times, and failed to close higher. We can also see that on the 5 minute, right? We have something, zoom in so we're not a ridiculous scale here. We have something going on up here where each time prices hit it, right, drop pretty hard, hit it, drop pretty hard, hit it. We start to drop in the pre-market. But on the 4 hour, we have a bunch of stacked points of control that are all high up in these candles, indicating that there's sellers in the area. So just paying attention to that especially after that large drop, a lower high, hitting resistance, can't close higher. You know, just looking at like, all right, we have clear resistance in this area, and I guess I can extend that, but price wicked up into that area right off the bat, right off the open, and then we dropped pretty aggressively. And I think whenever, especially on like a 4-hour time frame, whenever you have an area of clear resistance or support, and then it aligns also with those volume profiles, I think I just need to have more confidence in looking at that higher time frame and just understanding that there's, you know, a good potential for, you know, if it looks like support, a good potential for liquidity sweep and bounce, because, you know, we got a quick spike into that area and then immediately dropped. In this case, it was a, you know, a quick sweep and then a drop. So I missed it. Can't get them all. And like I said, it was a small losing day. 192, so not too bad. Just under 2K up on the account. So looking to hit that 2,600 this week. Hopefully we do. I'm not going to try to put too much pressure on myself to hit some number goal. I would just rather trade better. So that's all I got for you. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. I do trade live Monday through Friday, so if you want to stop by the stream, feel free. Would love to have you in here. Other than that, I appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great day. Peace.